So every joint in your body can act as a shock absorber for force. Right? So as this applies to the heel hook, if I'm allowing play in the knee while I rotate, see how your leg can kind of move around. So there are two joints connected to the body past the point of control, right? So I've got my heel hook point of control in the heel. There's his knee joint and his hip joint. The more mobility there is in either of those joints, the more he can absorb the force exactly. So I want to pin that, and I want to extend. See how I'm trying to anchor your hip to the ground, and I'm trying to anchor your knee in place. So if I can get your hip to the ground, and I can get your knee to remove rotation, I'm squeezing my knees, and I'm extending my leg to pin your hip into the ground. Now, very little pressure required.
So all the force translates.
If I go like this, now the hip becomes mobile. Now as I start to move, I mean, it's not like he's going to get out of the position, don't get me wrong. But I didn't sub him. I didn't create the opportunity. Now if I go like this, and the knee joint slips out, now he's completely safe. Right? So control. It's like with the arm bar. We're trying to immobilize the forearm, and the upper arm, and then we're trying to immobilize the shoulder girdle here. Right? The less movement there is in this arm, the less movement there is in the shoulder girdle, and the less movement there is here, the more you're going to get a tap. And this is where you get in that debate of knees open, knees closed. Don't get me wrong, you can absolutely break someone's arm doing that. It's by no means wrong. But if you, I don't know if you guys have seen the clip of Vinny Magalhaes at Abu Dhabi where he's just like, with Verdum. And it's partially because the knees are apart. And I feel like a douchebag telling Fabricio Verdum to change anything in his jiu-jitsu games. I could very well be wrong. But the movement of the shoulder girdle is part of the construction of the armbar. Right? Right now, the amount of movement, you just can't move the shoulder. And it's another thing, the thumbs up position, which is kind of the standard here. You know the hitchhiker escape, right?
Sure. Yeah.
He's only going to make a quarter turn to do that. If you rotate the thumb this way,
I can feel it.
This is one of those things. I feel like, a little while from now, everybody will be doing point the thumb with the guy's feet. But for now, this has just been taught to us as thumbs up, thumbs up. And again, it's not wrong. This absolutely works. But every good, flexible guy I've ever rolled with at the high level, if I've tried to use this version, I've had to deal with some variation on this speed. Whereas if you start with the thumb pointed at the feet, you just have less rotation to deal with. So having the knees immobilizing the arm and having the legs nice and tight and then rotating the guy's arm this way, it just takes all the extra movement out of the joint so all of the force you're generating is going into the elbow. So it's the same principle here. The hip is the equivalent of the shoulder girdle, the knee is the equivalent of the elbow, and the ankle is the equivalent of the wrist. And if you get that immobilization, then finishing the heel is very, very easy. If you don't, that's when you get people escaping. Yeah, cool, so you can go.